Victims' Voices with Fighting H.A.R.D is paid for, in part, with the federal highway safety funding by the Missouri Department of Transportation.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Oh, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Oh.
Victims' Voices with Fighting H.A.R.D. Rita Mitchell. Welcome to Victims' Voices podcast.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you feeling?
I feel okay.
Feel okay?
Yes.
So I think that this is the first time that I've met you.
Yes, ma'am.
Rita Mitchell, now Clemens.
Yes.
You are the sister of Ebony, is it Mitchell Menace?
I believe it's Ebony Mitchell Menace.
Menace, yes.
And
okay.
actually, I was a Clemens at the time. I was already married at the time she passed away.
So let's start there.
Okay.
Tell me what happened the day that you learned of your loss.
I was at home. I was asleep, and I got a phone call from my grandmother. It was about maybe 5:30 in the morning, and she says, well, you have one sister dead and two more sisters in the hospital, and she wished me happy Mother's Day. And I'm pregnant with my daughter. I thought that was like an odd Mother's Day, but I just woke up out of my sleep, so it didn't equate yet. She called me, and I said, yes, ma'am. And I was like, I'm like, well, what do I say? I don't know what to say. So she said they're in Barnes Hospital, and I didn't know which one was which, here or the two that were in the hospital had survived or had not survived. And it was not until I got to the hospital and talked with Brandy and I believe Amber. The cousin, I'm vague on, I don't remember, but those two, I know they said, well, Ebony didn't make it. They began to describe the accident of what actually happened.
What intersection did this take place?
The intersection of Del Mar and Kings Highway, North Kings Highway. Okay. And it's my understanding that Ebony, I believe, was traveling west on Del Mar, and whichever direction the other two cars were traveling, they were intersecting with Kings Highway and ran into her car. And as they described it, Ebony was trapped in her seatbelt. She could not get her seatbelt off, and they had to actually stand there and watch her succumb to her injuries because the car had caught on fire as they were waiting for the fire department to come. As was told to me, one of the suspects that hit her car actually he drove away, and the police found him like a couple of blocks away. They found his damaged car, and that's how they knew who it was. The other person, I believe he got away, or they ultimately found him, but the one person, he just like backed up, drove around, and just like drove some blocks later, and I believe that the sisters gave the police, which direction that the other car went in, and that's how they found him.
So the two that were in the car was able to get out, but Ebony wasn't able to get out
the
car before the car exploded.
Yes, before. Yes, because upon impact, according to them, when they hit the car, they hit it with such force and magnitude that the way I can visualize it is that Ebony has got her arm out the window reaching for them for help, and they can't get to her. Because at this point, the car is mangled and it has twisted her body, so she can't get the seatbelt off. And so the gas is leaking from the back of the car, and then the flames started to come, and it just she succumbed to her injuries in that manner.
How long has it taken for you to tell this story?
It has taken, I believe when it first happened, it took me a while to tell it. A while was maybe within a year. And it's because of my relationship with God that I was able to tell it the way I was able to tell it, as the way it was told to me. Because we know that sometimes when things happen, we all have to rely on God. We have to depend on Him. There is no book except from the Bible. Nothing, no human person can give you and tell you to grab you. You have to put yourself and immerse yourself in the Word of God to actually get an understanding. When David lost his son, or when Abraham was about to sacrifice, I believe, Isaac, and God said, no, you don't have to. So that relationship for me was easier to actually deal with Ebony's passing and to try to pass it along to the rest of my family, to my father, to Ebony's mom, to try to pass along to the siblings. And sometimes it's hard because some people would rather replace that with something else that can take that pain away, but that's only temporary.
As you've told your story in the intimacy of your family, and have found the words and the language to understand and to tell that story, why is it important for you to tell your story to the public today, to the listeners today?
Yes,
why is
thank
this
you.
important to you?
It is very important because sometimes you hear and you see on the news, or just in my own driving, it has made me even a more alert a driver, because you can see when someone is distracted. It doesn't have to be a telephone, it can be anything. But in that manner of what happened to Ebony, there's a question like, why do you have to go that fast on a street, road, avenue? Why is it fun? It's always fun until somebody gets hurt. And with you asking me that question, it can be reversed and asked to them, why was it so fun for you to do that? What if it was your family, if it was your impact? So put that shoe on the other foot. I'm going to do this because I'm listening to this music, or I'm, engaging or indulging myself in my, smoking activity, drinking activity. I have a lot of people in the car with me, so I have all these distractions. And so, we're Mario Karting through the street, when really it's not Mario Karting through the street. They have a whole racetrack. We have like 2 racetracks that you can buy, rent, or just go race around, run around. You can stop, drop, and roll on those racetracks if you want, just not on the street. And it doesn't, again, have to be a cell phone. It's just sometimes people are driving. It's very important to be patient. Please be patient. Please be patient. There are, my aunts crossing the street, your grandparents crossing the street. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just to say that we have become so dehumanized when it comes to,
Human
life, that it's just no regard, period. And so for that to happen to my sister, and my brother said that during that case, one of the families of one of the young men, they were trying to get him off because it was his first offense.
Now, is this your brother, Arvin Mitchell?
No, ma'am. This is Brandon. Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Brandon Mitchell. And I saw him and we were talking about it. And he, because I hadn't followed the case as much, I'd got a new job. And of course, I had my daughter. So I hadn't followed the case. I was at home pretty much for most of it. But it's, people know when they have children that can potentially be a problem for the public. When you raise your children from younger and they growing up, you can see something and something. They may not tell you, of course they're not going to tell you, but you see it and you know, and you need to catch it, because if you don't, society has to deal with it. We had to deal with it.
It's interesting that you speak to that when you speak to driving behaviors, or behaviors overall is what you're instilling. When you speak to the choices that people make when they get behind the wheel, when you speak to preventable, right? This could have been prevented based on a decision.
Yes.
Victims' Voices obviously is designed to really speak so families can tell their stories beyond the byline.
Yes.
Your story was told and reported in the media back then, and then of course it got quiet. Right? Not realizing that your story continues the entire year that it has taken you to relive and to find the words to even tell that story, and even where you are today.
Yes.
As you tell your story today, what is it that you want listeners to know about your journey and why you're in the space that you're in now?
I have a sister who is no longer here. I don't have any nephews or nieces from her. Watch her get married. She wasn't able to attend my wedding. Any of our other siblings were not able to enjoy her. She can't come to any graduations, and it's not just about babysitting, but she doesn't have the enjoyment. We don't have that enjoyment with her because of something that could have been preventable. And think about the choices that you make and your behaviors. What if it was you? When it's your turn, You will be sitting where I'm sitting. When it's your turn, your loved ones, your parents have to go and sit in a courtroom before a judge to say, oh, we don't find this young man guilty, when he knows he's guilty. And his family is advocating for his freedom. My sister doesn't have any freedom anymore. She's no longer here. So we as the family, we have to mourn her. We have to miss her. And we have to manage each other without her. Again, this could have been preventable. On most job sites, safety is first. It's number one. You have preventable accidents and you have accidents that are not preventable. That was a preventable accident. Again, that's not a racetrack. And unfortunately, that's, what we have to go on without her. It's not unfortunate in a manner in which it's bad, but her physical self is not here. Our memories are great, but her physical self is not here. They're still here. They may still be doing the same things that they were doing. Their family gets to enjoy them at barbecues. They get to enjoy them maybe if they have children. They get to enjoy all the other things that they stole from us because they stole that.
And that's the part that's missing, right? So
Yes.
to remind individuals that although the story is over, our lost still exists.
Yes, it does.
Right? Although you don't see the story in the meter, our lost still exists.
Yes.
Now, Carla Jordan, who's coming up next, is who brought her Ebony story to us.
Yes.
Carla brought you in to sit in this seat, and
Yes.
we're looking forward to talking to Carla here coming up next on Victims' Voices with Fighting H.A.R.D.
Fighting H.A.R.D would like to thank all the families and supporters, General Motors, Tom Everson of Keep Kids Alive Drive 25, and MoDOT. Up next on Victims' Voices with Fighting H.A.R.D.
And to me, story is everything because it represents, who we are, who we were, who we're becoming. Take the time to grieve, that it's okay to grieve. It helps keep memories alive. It helps keep love alive. But it also can be fuel, for being able to do something that's positive in this world.